This is Duke University.
Global trade and environmental justice.
Human rights issues are still.
The term Ubuntu.
About the Alien and Sedition Acts.
Is making inferential discovery.
The importance of an archive.
The John Hope Franklin Center.
Summertime means swimming, but for African American and Latino youth, very often they're challenged by the struggles of the fact that they don't know how to swim. In fact, 60 to 70% of African American and Latino youth don't know how to swim. And the drowning rates amongst this population are increasingly higher than those of their white peers. Today we're joined by Talia Mark, who is the manager of multicultural marketing at USA Swimming, the leading organization in competitive and also recreational swimming in the United States. She talks to us about how we can get our swimmers to swim safely and to talk about issues like black women and hair as one of the reasons why they're unwilling to get into the pool. My name is Mark Anthony Neal, and this is Left of Black. Welcome to Left of Black. I'm your host, Mark Anthony Neal, and we are joined this afternoon by Ms. Talia Mark, the new manager of multicultural marketing for USA Swimming after serving a similar position at NASCAR. So let's just start with that. Arguably two of the widest institutions in America, at least in relationship to athletics, NASCAR and USA Swimming. And you are the director of multicultural marketing. Talk a little bit about how you got to that space, doing the great work that you've been doing.
Okay, so I mean, I can talk about they are two sports that could use diversity, but the good thing is they both realize and they both recognize that they could use diversity, and I think that they're both taking steps in the right direction to make that happen. With NASCAR, basically I started out before I graduated from college with an internship at an organization called PCG Campbell, and one of their main clients was Ford Racing. And they asked me, you know, what account I wanted to work on. I said, look, I'm 20 years old. I just want to travel. Send me anywhere. So the first trip they sent me on was Talladega during the taping of Talladega Nights. So I instantly fell in love with racing, and I was with the agency for a couple of years, moved over to NASCAR, worked there for about 4.5 years, and then made my way into the diversity department, where I worked on programs with Marcus Jadot and his team. He's the vice president of public affairs and diversity, and Max Siegel, who now is the CEO of track and field. He also has his hand in the diversity efforts of NASCAR. So I had a good chance to work with those two. And then just from some of the different programs that I worked on at NASCAR, USA Swimming, in their diversity efforts, they said, hey, we want to do more to promote what we're already doing. Yeah. You know, they're doing a lot in the communities already. It's just that the community doesn't know what we're doing. So that's kind of where I came in.
And the NASCAR thing is a little different than the USA Swimming. NASCAR is trying to find folks to watch their show. To go out to the races, and yeah, they're probably looking for some more drivers also. Right. But with USA Swimming, you know, it's both, you know, trying to find fans of the sport, but also trying to get young folks, young black, brown folks, really interested, not only just to learn swimming, but to think about it as a competitive sport. I'm fortunate to have two daughters who are competitive swimmers, and the running joke, I mean, we go to these meets and we look on the deck, and we can always find our kids, right?
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what, but that's the thing. We're not only trying to change the mindset of swimming as a competitive thing, because let's face it, not everybody can be a competitive swimmer. Not everybody can be the next Cullen Jones, Maritza Correa. Not everybody can be that person, but swimming is also a lifestyle skill. Swimming is one of the very few sports that if you learn how to do it, it can save your life. Absolutely. You know, so that's one of the big things that we're trying to promote, that, you know, you may not want to do this on a professional level. You may not even want to do this in high school, middle school, college, but you may want to go to the lake one day with your friends. Yeah, you may want to go play in the pool. You know, so we're just trying to show the practical sides of why our community needs to be water safe, because we're drowning at an alarming rate. So that's really where my drive comes from.
And that's important, right? Because it's really even, you know, when you talk about the kind of practical side of this, right? 60 to 70% of black and brown kids don't know how to swim. of that 60 or 70% now who don't know how to swim, only about 13% will ever learn to swim. And then we look at the drowning rates, right, in comparison to their white peers, right? And so no one would necessarily call it a national crisis, but, you know, summertime's coming and kids want to get into the water and they may not be equipped to do so, you know, safely, right?
You know, and the scary thing is that, first of all, it is an epidemic. It's a big problem. But it's one of those problems where there's an easy solution. Swim lessons.
Right.
You know,
right.
that's it. That's it. You know, there's not a lot to it. It's just swim lessons. And USA Swimming's put into effect one of the big programs. It's called Make a Splash, and Cullen Jones is the face of the Make a Splash tour. And the whole purpose of the Make a Splash program is to give free and reduced swim lessons to kids in the community. They have over 480 partners in the country. You know, so there are opportunities out there. It's just that people need to make sure they go to makeasplash.org or swimtoday.org, which is a new campaign that we're starting to make sure that people on every level of swimming who have basically any interest in swimming have the ability to find out where they can get involved in their community.
And talk a little bit, for those who are just tuned in, we're watching Left to Black. We're joined this afternoon by Talia Mark, who's the manager of multicultural marketing for USA Swimming. Talk a little bit about how important a figure like Cullen Jones is to this conversation, to this equation. Here we have an American record holder in the 50-meter freestyle, an Olympic gold medalist, good-looking guy, hip-hop generation. I mean, if you needed a kind of package to kind of sell the sport, in some ways, Cullen is the perfect package to be able to make the sport attractive, you know, to a wide range of audiences who don't think about swimming in any significant kind of way.
Absolutely, and he takes that on. That's the best thing about Cullen. He understands that he is that total package, that he has the credentials behind his name. He is very hip hop himself. He's a very likable guy. He's a nice person, you know, which makes it very easy to work with him. When we go into the schools, we go to elementary schools. We do at least six elementary schools a year. And Cullen, he goes in and he talks to these kids, and you know, they're looking at him. They're like, he looks like my cousin. He looks like me. I can do that. I can be him, and that's really important, you know. So he makes a big difference. But there's also other swimmers. We have Maritza Karayash, who is a silver medalist, 2004, and she's a mom. She just had her first baby, Kaysen, on New Year's Day, and one of our big markets. We're looking to reach out to moms because in a lot of households, the moms make a lot of the major decisions. You know, it was Cullen's mom who made the decision to say, hey, after you nearly drown, I'm putting you in swim lessons. So we're trying to reach out to the moms, and Maritza is a great way to do that. So we have a number of different, you know, really good spokespeople and ambassadors for the sport.
My wife, in fact, who doesn't know how to swim, she was the force behind forcing our daughters to learn how to swim, not thinking that, at least in the case of one of them, they would turn out to be a pretty decent competitive swimmer. You know, we first started talking a few days ago over a blog post that you did, talking about black women in hair and screening Chris Rock's good hair for the folks at USA Swimming and the woman, the founder of Make a Splash, you know, going to that incredible hair care show down in Atlanta. And there's a lot of chuckles, but there's some serious stuff around this. I mean, when we hear all the reasons why, particularly black girls, don't look at the sport as an option, or may have started at a young age and then kind of get away from it in their teenage years, it comes down to hair, right? There's no other discussion. It's hair, right?
That's true. So that's true. There's three main reasons that we found through research. Number one is just fear. Overall fear of the water. That's number one. But scary enough, the number two, and I'm talking a very close number two, is the hair.
Yeah.
Very close number two is hair. And then the third reason is just the cost of getting into swim lessons, which that's where the Make a Splash program comes in. We want to make that reason, you know, dissipate as much as we can. But yeah, I was really impressed when I first got to USA Swimming, and they gave me the stats, and they were talking about how a lot of women don't swim because of the hair. You know, I think everybody kind of understood that it was a problem, but didn't understand the different things that I have gone through my entire life with hair. So I was like, well, how about we sit down, you know? And I'm the new kid. I'm like, hey, let's try it. Let's see. If you want to watch it, let's see. You know, I'm going to make it optional. It's a luxury learn. If you want to come out and watch it, come watch it. It's a good movie. It's very informative. You know, come on and watch it. The entire room was packed. And everyone stayed until the end. People took notes. I mean, I looked around the room. I was floored. People were taking notes. I had people stay after. Our executive director, Chuck Wilgus, has the tape right now at his house. You know, like, there is a genuine interest. You know, and that's the thing that impresses me the most. You know, there's a genuine interest in trying to make sure that every kid in the United States knows how to swim. So if hair is something that's going to stop us, we're going to try and tackle that. So she went to the hair show and she loved it. I told her she needed to come back with something, but she, you know, she didn't, but she had a good time.
And, you know, as an interesting kind of sidebar, you know, when we read all this stuff about concerns about black women's health and obesity rates and those kinds of things, you know, the idea of being able to offer swimming as a low impact alternative, you know.
Absolutely. Well, and as I was telling you, I just tore a couple of muscles in my knee, and one of the first things that the orthopedic surgeon, and he's an excellent orthopedic surgeon. He is the official surgeon for the USA men's basketball team, and one of the first things he told me was, go get in the water.
Yeah.
You know, and I can barely walk on land, but he said, go get in the water. So that's why it's a great alternative for people who maybe you have bad knees, or maybe you're looking for something that is really low impact, but it's a full body workout. You know, swimming, it's all of that.
Yeah. You're watching Left of Black, and we're joined this afternoon by Talia Mark, who's the manager of multicultural marketing for USA Swimming, a position she similarly held at NASCAR before coming over to USA Swimming. There are a lot of folks who know, relative at least to the sport, who Missy Franklin is. You know, the 13-year-old who was on the Olympic team or made the Olympic trials in 2008. A lot of folks, you know, who may know Missy Franklin may not know Neal, who was also in that same kind of situation, and just watching her performance at the Charlotte Ultra Swim this weekend, where she won the 100-meter freestyle as a 17-year-old. How important do you think she will be, you know, on the one hand, to the future of the sport? You know, you mentioned Maritza earlier as kind of this example of a black woman who's excelled in the sport. But Leah is 17 years old. You know, how important is she going to be to the future of the sport on the one hand, but also, you know, as that counter to all those little black girls who are like, I don't want to mess up my hair, when presented with the opportunity to partake in the sport?
Well, there's two things, and before I hit on Leah, because I have a lot to say about her. She's phenomenal. But the hair issue, one of the big steps that we've taken to highlight how important swimming is, and that you can still swim and your hair can still be fine. There's different alternatives. We've hired Simone Small's PR agency, and they've done a great job of making sure that we have people like Maritza in different hair and beauty and healthcare magazines, so young girls can say, hey, she swims every day and her hair looks like this. Right. You know, it's okay. My hair's not going to fall out. It's not going to turn green. It is okay. And I mean, those are the myths that we have. And so if we have someone that is going through the same type of thing and can speak on behalf of the exercise, it's kind of golden. And so that's one of the big pushes that we have on a PR side. As far as Leah, she's something else. She's something else. She's 17. She's from New York. She's phenomenal. They actually, I believe it's the New York Times, did a huge write-up on her when she was 13.
Yeah. That's when I first found out about it,
Yeah, she's 13 years old. And so, you know, we're taking it easy with Leah because we want to make sure that it's not too much pressure. She's old enough to understand the responsibilities that can be put on her because she's in a very unique space. She's in that space with Maritza and the Cullens and Anthony Irvin. She's in that space, but she's 17. So, you know, we're gonna hold off and we're gonna let her make the team. You know, we hope she makes the team. We're gonna let her do all the things that a 17-year-old should do, and then it'll be up to her whatever she wants to do after that. But she is a phenomenal swimmer.
Are you going to make it down to the Heritage Meet at all?
I will not. Ironically enough, I'm glad you mentioned that. So May 26th, which is that Saturday.
Right.
We will have Make a Splash Mount Vernon, of which Maritza will be on site. We will. There's a lot of things going on that I can't divulge just yet, but there will be a lot of things going on that week. We'll have a press conference with the mayor of Mount Vernon, New York, and we've closed down the streets in front of the Mount Vernon YMCA. We have almost 40 vendors that promote healthy living and healthy activities, and we have from swim lesson providers to swim teams to dance teachers, just anything that's healthy living, promoting healthy living in the community. And we're putting a lot of PR around that because we want to show Memorial Day weekend, that's the start of when pools open. So we want to put a lot around that and show that these are healthy alternatives that you can do. And we'll also have a portion inside the YMCA where kids can learn to go swim with Maritza. She's going to be in the water, so.
And as a sidebar, how important has the YMCA been as a partner, the Y, if you will, as a partner, to all of the things that you do? I mean, my daughters learned how to swim at the Y. I mean, so many folks learn how to swim at the Y. How important are they as a partner in all of this?
YMCA is a great partner. They're really, but you got to think about it. Like I said, we have over 480 Make a Splash partners. Not all of them are YMCAs. A lot of them are. But not all of them are, and they all hold a different set of importance, a different skill set for us. So we have some Make a Splash partners that have over 100 members, and then we have some that may have 5 or 10, but they all are special in their own different way. But the YMCA is definitely a great partner.
We've been joined this afternoon on Left of Black by Talia Mark, who's the manager of multicultural marketing for USA Swimming, coming over from NASCAR, where she held a similar position. It's been great talking with you, Talia.
It was great talking to you. I'm glad we finally got a chance to talk. I've been reading your blogs and seeing everything you write on Twitter, so it's great to finally put a face with a name.
Thank you. Appreciate connecting today. Take care.
All right, you too.
Produced by Duke University. Online at duke.edu.